Big pickup for Ohio State. Jim Knowles from Oklahoma State, former Cornell head coach. Jim Knowles had other stops around, I believe, Pennsylvania. Jim Knowles, 56 years old, and really reinvented himself. He is ending up going to Ohio State, and this is unbelievable. I think that what Jim Knowles has done on defense with Oklahoma State, and their defense being dominant and really blitzing and playing so sound, I think that this is going to take Ohio State and Ryan Day to the next level. What Jim Knowles did at Oklahoma State and the way that they play and the physicality, because that's never been done at Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy revamped this team into a running and a defensive team. This used to be an air it out sort of team, when you had Mason Rudolph and, of course, Brandon Whedon and Des Bryant, J.W. Walsh and Clint Shelf, and you had all those really great quarterbacks in passing games, Tylan Wallace and Des Bryant, and of course Justin Blackmon, who was the best receiver at Oklahoma State. So it used to be just an air it out sort of team, and it would be like a 1st to 60 sort of game in the run and shoot Big 12 offense in those crazy shootouts. So now, what Jim Knowles did with Spencer Sanders and what Gundy did is they basically were a running team, and they played really physical defense, and they changed the culture around and damn near won a Big 12 championship and went 10-2 and were a couple of yards away from actually winning the Big 12. So this hire for Ohio State is big time. Jim Knowles gets back to his Northeastern roots. This is big time on a lot of levels for Ohio State. I still think you have Kerry Combs there who can help you call a defense. I know Combs got, in week 2, it said that somebody else was calling the defense at Ohio State. Ohio State needs incredible defensive linemen. I mean, Chase Young, Bosa, they need to start recruiting the interior and outside parts of their defensive line. They're recruiting really good wide receivers. Their offense is obviously not the problem. And now you're going to have C.J. Stroud for another year, and then you're going to have to find another, like maybe this year you go after a freshman quarterback that will be the next one after Stroud, because now Ewers is gone. So for Ohio State, they need to be an elite defensive line. The cornerback play, I mean, you had like Sean Wade, Jeff Okuda. So the cornerbacks have also been great at every level. The linebackers, of course, Pete Werner, and incredible linebackers at Ohio State. So Jim Knowles now is going to be working with the most talent he's ever worked with. So Jim Knowles can take it to the next level. He is 56. Like, I wish that Jim Knowles could actually get a head coaching gig in like 3 or 4 years if he could. But again, I think that this hire for Ryan Day, because Ryan Day, especially if Michigan goes on and has success in the playoffs, the clock's going to start ticking for Ryan Day in order for him to try to win a national championship and get over the hump and do what Urban was able to do in 2014. But overall, Jim Knowles going to Ohio State, I mean, the job that Jim Knowles would be my pick for the assistant coach of the year, because Oklahoma State, I mean, if you follow anything about Oklahoma State, they never had defense. And suddenly this year, their defense was the reason that they were winning. And you would never think that. Just like with Patrick Mahomes and Texas Tech's defense was just Swiss cheese. It was awful. You look at so many teams. Baylor used to be that way with Art Briles, but then, Matt Rule came in, and it usually takes a while. And I guess it was a 3-year plan, but it was brilliant. Now you're going to have to see who Gundy goes after at Oklahoma State. Of course, Manny Diaz is a defensive guy who just got released from his duties. Bronco Mendenhall is also a defensive guy that might be out there, might get the itch to get coaching again. So you're going to have to see. Justin Hamilton's a talented guy from Virginia Tech. I'm sure that he's going to be leading a defense pretty soon. So we're going to have to see where some of these dominoes fall on the defensive coordinator side. But again, this is big time for Ohio State.